What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video. George Seaton just dropped a bombshell at, I guess you would call it, the recruiting interviews. They're interviewing all the recruits before they take their dive into their schools and asking the questions. Just last minute, little process before they get rocking and rolling here. And these are fun interviews. You're going to get some rawness because these guys aren't really media trained yet. So if you can poke the right questions, you might get some good answers. And a good answer we got here from Jordan Seaton. Look, I got to eat my words. When we saw the interview with him and Hayes Fawcett, we went live, we watched it. It was a weird one. We had a lot of questions here. I got to eat my words here, man. Since then, he's impressed me. I feel like he's been handling himself very well. It makes me believe that was kind of a troll. He was just trying to playing some games with on three, and maybe some of the people kind of just talking shit, because ever since then, man, he has been dialed in, and it just, his mindset and his thought process on this entire situation has been really cool to watch. He was asked about, was he negatively recruited against Coach Prime before signing, and then alludes to, what they're building there at Colorado. It's a hell of an interview. Take a listen, and then we'll talk about it.
I would have hired him. Were there schools negatively recruiting against Deion Sanders not serious? What was said to you during that, especially down the stretch? They were saying, this is the most famous one I got. It was like, what do you want to be, a rapper or something? Like, I'm like, hey, I get what you're saying, but bro, it was a lot of negative recruiting about him. I feel like some people don't understand that he only been there for about what, like, has it been a year yet?
Yeah.
It's been a year. Like, the turnaround that program had from 1-11 to what they went 5-6, 5-6, like 4-8, yeah. To that, it's like cool. Like, you see it, like, for example, like Coach Napier and them staff. How long they been there?
This is their second.
Second year. Same thing. Like, you got to take some time. Like, Alabama was at Bama in 6 months. It takes time. Like, just give it like a year, another year, maybe 2 years. And that's going to be a real program that everybody's going to want to go to.
What do you want to be, a rapper? What do you mean by that? Like, what? Who says that to somebody? Like, what are we doing here? I don't know if it was a coach. Maybe it was just a recruiting, coordinator or something. That's wild to me. Look, negative recruiting against coaches, that's a tale as old as time. That's part of the game. You expect that. But look, we've heard it, right? A lot of coaches are throwing a lot of dirt in that direction because of how much pizzazz Coach Prime brings to the table. People are just trying to throw whatever they can to hope it sticks, right? Like, hey, he's not going to be there very long. What do you want to be, a rapper? Apparently is a new one that's thrown into the mix. It's funny to watch. But look, what I love is he doesn't really dive into it. He just flips a switch and go, look, you got to understand what's happening here. This thing's getting turned around. It's getting flipped around. Everybody's freaking out, but it's been a year. Right, and kind of goes back to that. And he mentions Florida. I don't know if people know, but Florida was heavily involved in his recruiting as well. So I think that was why he spoke to them, because they're in that same position where they're trying to build, and that was something that he wanted to be a part of, was building a program back up. What I also think should be, make the Buff fans feel a lot more comfortable is he said, hey, look, another year, maybe 2 years, which I believe alludes to like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm part of building this. Which also another thing that people have been speaking to is like, Coach Prime's going to leave once his son leaves. He's gone anyways. But he said, hey, give it a year, maybe 2 years. Like, we're building something here. We got the bricks. Now we're putting it together to go follow the yellow brick road to get where we want to go. We're headed that way. Just trust us. And look, I think a biggest thing, that he also spoke to is Alabama wasn't built in 6 months. They've been dominant for so long. We forget that they struggled their first season, 2 seasons as well. Right. And to be fair, when Bama was trying to get going, there wasn't a Bama around. It was in a time where there was a transitioning happening. Right now with Georgia and Bama, they've got their dynasties, their empires pretty well established. And when you've got something like that going up against you, you got the Michigans, Ohio State, they're pretty well established now for the last 3 or 4 years. It is much harder to break through that wall. So all those things are something to consider, which we've been talking on the show as well. But I thought that was very interesting to see Jordan Seaton there drop a little nugget. And again, somebody who I got called out in the comments because I didn't call myself out. Look, I'm more than happy to say when I was wrong. I wasn't necessarily saying I was concerned with the interview, but this interview here, it's got to get you excited. You got to love his mindset and who this guy's coming in. And we saw the interview Coach Prime talking about him. He's like, this guy, love this guy to death. He is a professional in and out, and he goes after these kids and say, hey, do you want to be here? No, he's just chasing a bag. Got to allude says, like, look, like, we're here to do something. Do you want to be a part of that? Yes or no? Cool. See you later. Great stuff there. Love it. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about Jordan Seaton's comments, how you feel about the negative comments happening against Deion Sanders. And be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, turn the bell on. Don't want to miss anything else drops because it's been a little bit busy day here. Things starting to heat up, starting to get the clock rolling. So could expect some more things to drop as the next few days happen. See you guys in the next one. Peace.